Good morning, it's Friday. Here we are, end of the week. So for a bit of a change today, I thought that we finished a unit that we'd have a go at some arithmetic. We haven't done any arithmetic for ages. So I've dug out and found an arithmetic paper that's specifically for year 5. Now, most of the questions, I've just put the first 2 pages on here. They all look like this. There is plenty of space to work out. Now, you know who I am talking to because some of you will just do them in your head, write the answers. And then we go through and mark them and you always go, oh, I've got loads wrong. What have I done? Now, if you're working them out, then you can make sure you will see if you have any mistakes. You will be able to spot, oh, no, that doesn't look right. I'm going to check that at the end to be sure that I am right. So please, please, please use the boxes to do your working out. Now, what I've done on this next slide is a couple of reminders, because there are some questions where I feel you might go, oh, I can't remember how to do that because it was so long ago that we did it. So I've got 2 slides here, not too many to show you. The first one is about adding fractions, because there are a few questions in here where you're adding fractions and taking away, the same applies. So if you're adding or subtracting fractions, remember the rule, you have to make sure the denominators are the same. Which one is the denominator? It's the number at the bottom of the fraction. So in this case here, let me get my little pointer pen here. So we've got 1/2, here's an example, plus a quarter. The denominators are the 2 and the 4. I was thinking denominator, D, down. The denominator, the one at the bottom. They have to be the same to add them. We can't add a 1/2 and a quarter. So what we can do is we can change the 1/2 into quarters. Now, talking of equivalent fractions, fractions that are the same as each other. So what you can look at here with your, I'm just trying to find my pen back on here and my cursor, it's done its usual vanishing job. So when we've got a 1/2, I've put here a 1/2 equals 2 quarters. How have I got to that? Oh, I do need my pen. Where's it gone? It's completely vanished. How annoying. Okay, so what I've done, I've thought, right, well, I can multiply. Oh, I've just spotted it. There it is, right at the bottom. Oh, it's gone. There it is. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Here we are at Friday, end of the week. Fantastic. Hope you're all okay and you got on with the problem solving. Well, no, that wasn't yesterday. Sorry, that was the day before. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friday. Hope you're okay and got on okay with your end of unit test. As we finished a unit, I thought we'd do something a little bit different today, but we're doing an arithmetic paper. We haven't done arithmetic for ages. So most of the questions I know you'll be absolutely fine with, but you know who I'm talking to here, because some of you will do the answers in your head, write them down and whiz on through. I want you to show the working out for the questions. Those big additions, those big takeaways. Make sure you're writing it down, use the squares, line everything up, especially with your decimal questions. There's a couple of reminders though I've got for you. Now, adding fractions, make sure the denominators are the same. So for example, here where we've got 1/2 and 1/4, the denominators are the number at the bottom of the fraction, aren't they? I always say, remember that the denominator down, the one underneath. So you can see the 2 and the 4 are different. That's where our alarm bells should go off and think, oh, we can't add them because they're different. But we can change 1/2, can't we, into a quarter. So here I've written it again. So I think, well, I can actually make them the same, because what I can do to a 1/2 is I can multiply that by 2 and it changes it into quarters. But the rule, remember, with the fractions, if what you're doing to the bottom fraction, you must do to the top. So if you've multiplied the bottom by 2, you have to multiply the top by 2. So in this case, we've said, well, a 1/2 is the same as 2 quarters. So then we've now said this is the equivalent fraction to a 1/2. So rather than having the 1/2 written here, I've rewritten the question out at the bottom, and the denominators now are all the same, so we can add them. So 2 quarters, which was the same as a 1/2, plus 1/4 is 3/4. So do you notice how you're not adding the denominators, you only add the numerators, the number at the top. We don't need to add the denominators because they are now the same. So that's a thing to remember. Same for subtraction. They have to be the same, and then you just subtract the numerators from the top. Second tip, fractions of amount. Now I think we didn't quite get onto this before we went into lockdown, so I thought I'd go through it quickly again. Now, with these fractions of amount, you will find that sometimes a question might say, what is 1/4 of 24? And then you might have another question which says 1/4 times 24. Now, actually, this times and this of, it means exactly the same. You do exactly the same to work them out. And I always remember it in a two-step process. So my first job is that I think the number which I am looking for the fraction of, so in this case it is the 24. I'm looking again for my cursor because it disappeared. Here we go, here it is. So where I'm looking for, so the number I'm working with now is 24. So whoops, that was a big circle, wasn't it? So what I do here, I divide by the denominator, denominator down. So it means when I go over here, the 24 that I am looking at, I divide by the denominator. So I'm dividing by 4. And that gives me, oopsie, an answer of 6. Now then you multiply that answer by the numerator. Now in this case I know it's a 1, so you're going to get the same answer, but it's good idea to get into the habit of doing the multiplying by the numerator, because then once those numbers get higher than 1, you're going to get the correct answer. So then multiply that with the numerator, so 6 times 1 is 6. So that is the same job, the same process, whether it says 1/4 of 24 or if it says 1/4 times 24, you can do the same. So I just thought I'd do those little reminders because there's a couple of questions like that in your paper. You can always look back on the video if you need a bit of guidance to help you. Hope you get them right. I've included the answer sheet as well in the pack that I sent out on Monday. So please make sure that you finish it, check it, and then mark it and let me know. I'd love to know how you got on, how many marks you got right. It doesn't matter if you've only got a few, if you've had a really, really good try. It just shows bits that we may need to practice when we get back to school. So good luck, have a lovely weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Okay, bye-bye.